So welcome back on Future You. We're back with Doug Belkin from the Wall Street Journal, Hilary Burns from the Boston Globe, Karin Fischer from the Chronicle of Higher Education. So I want to change tactics here, topics for a minute, because we had this story play out over the summer that I'm not quite sure if any of you wrote about, but it provides a bigger window into higher education leadership, which really kind of fascinates me and Michael, and we were texting about this in the moment when it happened. The story was this: Santo Ono, he was Michigan's president. He was in line for the Florida job. He was the sole finalist. Says he had been nervous about the DEI stuff all along and then had this kind of awakening of sorts. But then essentially he gets dinged for it because a lot of the things that the New York Times wrote about Michigan's DEI work was under his presidency. And that's after, of course, 4 Ivy League presidents have resigned since October 7, 2023, the UVA president, the Northwestern president, most recently, as we're recording this. I'm just wondering, given all the upheaval in these top jobs, what does this really say about the job of being a president of a university right now? Can someone who has been president of a public university, for example, in a blue state, really go to the University of Florida in a red state, or vice versa? Is there a litmus test? Is there going to be a litmus test on both sides? What does it really mean for leading a university right now? Doug, let me start with you, and then Hilary, let me have you weigh in on that too.
Yeah, in the last few years, these jobs went from kind of political to hyper political, and everybody's hiding behind or adopting, probably wisely, institutional neutrality for that reason. I think it's kind of the only path forward. I don't see this changing. When the Democrats take back power in Washington, there's a pretty good chance that they'll push in the same direction. We saw a trend a number of years ago of guys like Mitch Daniels and other politicians coming into the presidency. I think those folks have a better background, more keen understanding of how to handle this. And some of these presidents who have come up through the academy are a little bit like deer in the headlights. I was surprised to see Ono, that thing play out so ruthlessly in Florida.
Right. Hilary, what are you hearing up in Massachusetts there, where, again, these were kind of top jobs in the Ivy League, and it'll be kind of curious to see, for example, what eventually happens at Harvard and Columbia.
Yes, the turnover has been amazing. I mean, we all know that it's already, the tenure of college presidents continues to shrink. And I was at a dinner last night with about a dozen college presidents in DC, presidents of small liberal arts colleges. And they all, with this topic came up, and they all were saying, yeah, this job has become very political. Like, who wants this job now? Like, how many people are saying, no, this is not the career path for me, when they see all that's going on? You just have to be so careful. It's also something that we've been talking about here, how because as the tenures do get shorter and shorter, like, do you have real leadership at these universities navigating these really challenging questions? Like, where is the leadership? Maybe has a lack of leadership contributed to some of the vulnerabilities at these schools that have led to this moment? So I think it's a really tough question. And now we're seeing interim presidents in a lot of these positions battling with the federal government. So that's also interesting.
Yeah, and Karin, I want to bring you in here because in addition to international reporting over your career at the Chronicle, you've also done a lot on the economy and the political economy between states and the value of higher education. I mean, it seems like we've been moving towards this. I'm starting to wonder if we're going to have a blue state, red state higher education system increasingly. And it's one of those things that I think has always been a little bit above politics. But as we know now, the number one predictor of how you're going to vote is the college degree. And so do you feel that in your reporting domestically that there's starting to be this divide between kind of the red state and blue state universities?